What is going on, guys? This is an NXL Atlantic City preview video. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this NXL video. So if you're unfamiliar, the NXL, the National X-Ball League, is the biggest professional paintball tournament series in the world. And it is happening this weekend, June 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So what we're gonna do here is cover all the teams and then some matches to watch for. So we're gonna go over all the teams, right? So we're gonna say like how they did the last tournament, if they have any injuries, maybe what to look for in that specific team, and then the good matches you should watch. So all these teams, games, matches, whatever, we're gonna talk about here, you can go watch at gosports.com this weekend, and then I guess after this weekend, because they do have this stuff on demand as well. First up, Seattle Thunder. Seattle Thunder have it pretty rough. Last year, they finished in last place in the professional division, and they're finding themselves in last place again, and it's only getting worse for Atlantic City. So they will be without Map Chim and Devin Kale, and Corey Field will be playing this event. So last event in Texas, Corey Field just coached, he didn't play at all, but because of the missing players for this tournament, he will be playing in Atlantic City. I feel like it's do or die for Thunder, man. Being last place 2 years in a row, you gotta step it up. Like, they really have to bring it this event. They have to get out of that last spot, because I don't see them sticking around if they get relegated down to the semi-pro division. And second, we have Chicago Aftershock. Aftershock for sure have had the craziest year in the pro division. After only 2 events, they've switched out nearly their entire roster and added 5 new guys for Atlantic City. So they've added Brian McKenna, Brian Onowicha, Johnny Inochi, David Simmons, and CJ Canner are all new this year, although McKenna and Simmons have played with the team in the past. I assume that both Simmons and McKenna will be in the starting roster. They will, however, be without snake player Carl Markowski, who is out due to a knee injury. So just like Seattle Thunder, Atlantic City is a big deal for Aftershock. They need to stay out of that last spot. If they get relegated, Chicago Aftershock playing semi-pro would just be weird. And again, I don't know if I see that happening. So they need to play well to definitely stay out of that relegation spot. And in that 18th spot, we have Boom. I don't know about Boom. Like, sometimes they play well, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they beat teams they should, and then sometimes they don't. They've won a single match this year, and that was in Texas this last event. They beat Elevation, but all right, you should beat Elevation. That was Elevation's second pro tournament. You guys have been in the league for years now. They just seem to come out really flat and let's play paintball. Not we're doing this professionally, let's take this really serious. Boom always seems really flat and they have no energy, so don't expect big things in Atlantic City. And in that next spot, we have the ML Kings. I love the ML Kings. I love how they're from the Czech Republic, and I love how everyone on the team, well, not everybody, we'll say I love how average height of that team is 6'4". It's great. I love everything about them. Them playing in the NXL Pro Division really is a great thing. I mean, typically professional paintball in the US, right? We just have paintball teams spread out all over the US. So having international teams come and play is really cool. We've had the Russians for a long time. We had Joy Division for a while. Then we had the Tauntauns and stuff. So it's cool. I really like the international flavor we now have in the NXL. I don't know, expect the same thing, right? I would expect them to go 1-3 or 0-4. ML Kings, they're brand new though, so good luck to you guys. You're a lot of fun to watch. And then we have New York Extreme. New York Extreme are another one of these new pro teams in the 2018 season. In Texas, they played really well. Their record probably not gonna show as they went 1-3, but they did have some really close games. They lost to Dynasty by 2, and they lost to Heat and Uprising by both 1 point. So really, it's just getting another kill or a minor penalty on the other team could have switched the tournament around completely for them. They could have went from 1-3 to 3-1 pretty easy by just winning a few more points. It's gotta be really gut-wrenching knowing that hey, if we won, 3 extra points, we'd have been playing on Sunday. I like New York Extreme. They're one of the newer pro teams that are super aggressive and trying to show that they deserve that pro spot. They're another one of these new teams that's really fun to watch. So make sure to watch New York Extreme in Atlantic City. And then in 15th place, we have PC Katana. I think PC Katana would be my sleeper team. If I could pick a team that is gonna be really good in 2 years, I think I would probably pick PC Katana. I don't really know why, I just have this good feeling about Katana. They're super professional, they have a great practice facility, good players, and a really good coach in Matt Sosman. They in Texas, though, did not fare well. They went 0-4, but they did have some close games with the Ammo Kings and XFactor. In addition to their roster this year is Jerry Caro. Jerry played, I'm pretty sure, I'm just winging this, but I think 2 years on the Ironman. Jerry Caro is super athletic and has a very good work ethic, and I think he could be a standout player. So if you're watching any PC Katana games, make sure to focus in on Jerry Caro, see how good or bad he does. And in the 14th spot overall, we have the Los Angeles Ironman, the team that was destined to win it all. So coming into 2018, the Los Angeles Ironman completely revamped their roster by adding Kyle Spica, Trevor Reeser, and Damian Ryan. A lot of people were like, they're the team to beat, but they've been anything but all year. So this year their roster is completely new. But even last year, I don't think they had a bad roster. I really think they were one of the more talented teams out there. They were just missing whatever it is, I don't know. With this current roster, I'm sure that team owner Dave Youngblood and coach Todd Martinez were expecting more. With their new roster, they're actually worse than they were last year. At this point last year, the team was in 10th place, with their best finish being 10th place. Better, but not wildly better. They should be good. They have a healthy roster. Watch them in Atlantic City. And then just above the Ironman in 13th, we have Sacramento TMG. A lot was expected from Sacramento DMG this year when they bumped up into the pro division. Last year, they completely dominated the semi-pro division, winning 4 tournaments. So everyone expected, myself included, from them to do a little bit better than they have this year. They haven't done bad, but I don't know, I guess I was expecting a little bit more, as they're really good. They have really good players, great facility, and good coaching, just like PC Katana do. DMG, they watch them. And then we have Seattle Uprising. Uprising are another one of those teams that are just right on the cusp. They're always a threat to the higher ranked teams say Dynasty or AC Dallas, but they never quite get it done. They had a very close match in Texas versus Houston Heat that went down to 7-6, but then they lost by 1 point, just barely not getting it done. In a way, Uprising are what DMG don't want to become, because when Uprising came into the league in 2006, into the pro division, they completely dominated 2015 in that semi-pro division, winning everything, just like DMG did. But they've always remained in that 10th-ish or 12th overall position. They do have a new player, James Creek, who is really good, that hurt his ribs in Texas. He's all healed up though, and will be playing in Atlantic City. So they have a full and healthy roster going into AC. And in the 11th spot, the TMG, or Trade My Gun Outlaws. So if I could pick a sleeper team, I think it would probably be the TMG Outlaws. Wait, I already picked this. Can I have 2 sleepers? Okay, so if I could pick 2 sleeper teams, first one would be Katana, and then I think the Outlaws, because the Outlaws are already a little bit better. So real sleeper team, Katana. The Outlaws have a good roster too. They have Andrew Johnson, who's a really good snake player, Fred Berkeley, who's good up the center, and then Cody Chong, who's also a killer that will be back in Atlantic City. They have a semi-easy bracket, so if they play well through the prelims, I could see them maybe playing on Sunday, and then depending on who they play on Sunday, getting an 8th place or higher. 8th place might not sound that exciting, but for the Outlaws, it'd be pretty good. So AC, sleeper team. And then we have Infamous. So much like Aftershock, Infamous has seen a lot of roster shakeups, and they only have a handful of players returning after the 2017 season. They saw a lot of players leave in the offseason. Damian Ryan left, Trevor Reeser left, Corey Borenstein left, Max Treeler, and Phil Schroeder all left the team. Coach Travis Lemansky has filled in the gaps with some former Aftershock players and a few other out-of-towners like Nate Schrader. Coming into Atlantic City, the team's a little bit hobbled. They will be without Nate Schrader, who dislocated his shoulder diving into a bunker, I believe on the Dorito side. And then they also have maybe 90%-ish Thomas Taylor. Thomas got a big old hole in his knee in Texas. It was infected and bloody and oozy. It was pretty gross. He's much better now, will be playing, but not at 100%. This year and last year, Thomas Taylor has played very well for Infamous. Even him at 90% is gonna be better than a majority of the league, and I'd take him any day at 90%. Infamous is gonna rely heavily on Thomas the rest of the year, so hopefully even at that 90%, he's able to get some kills and keep Infamous competitive. Breaking into the top 10, Scottsdale Elevation. Dudes are for sure the best thing that's happened this year in the NXL. They came up this year into the NXL Pro Division from the Semi-Pro Division. In Semi-Pro, they were ranked 5th. So no one really expected anything. Everyone just thought they were gonna be awful and like lose all their matches. But lo and behold, Elevation's pretty good. At this point, they're ranked 9th. 9th in their first year pro. That means they're better than half of the professional division. That's a big surprise and like a shocker to me. I mean, they're ranked higher than the Ironman and Infamous. Who thought that would happen? Elevation are one of the more fun teams to watch. I think this is because they're so much of an underdog, we just always want them to win. So in Texas, Elevation were without 2 main players, Urena and Vanta, and they will be back for Atlantic City. So they have a full and healthy roster going to New Jersey. And then we have Tampa Bay Damage. Coming into Atlantic City, Tampa Bay Damage should be really upbeat, and they've played very well this year. They're playing like the Tampa Bay Damage in 2010 to like 2014, the team that was competing to win tournaments. They do have some question marks on their roster though, like they did lose Mike Waring to AC Dallas, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, but he didn't play all that much on Damage, so it might not be that big of a deal. Jacob Edwards sprung his ankle in Prague at the NXL Europe event. It was bad in the moment. He has been practicing and will be playing in Atlantic City. And then Jason Edwards just had a kid a few days ago. When I talked to him, he was playing. But again, that was like 4-ish days ago. If he sits at Atlantic City, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Having a kid is a bigger deal than going to a paintball tournament. And then up we have Baltimore Rev Oh. Baltimore Rev Oh are another really bright spot in the league this year. And I put them in cool stuff that's happened in the NXL with Rev Oh, ML Kings, and Elevation all in that same lot. Forever, Rev Oh was middle tier, lower tier team, but this year they've definitely made that jump up to being one of the better teams in the NXL. Most of that work has all fallen on the backs of former 187 players like Dan Zaleski, Eddie Painter, Josh Pike, and I'm forgetting someone. Who am I forgetting? Max Trailer. The same reason that I watch some of these other teams that are right on the cusp of being good is the same reason I watch Baltimore Rev Oh, because I always want them to beat the good teams, right? Imagine watching a tournament and you see Rev Oh beat Impact, Heat, Dynasty, and AC Dallas. That would be really cool. It's not gonna probably happen, just because it'd be weird for them to play all those teams, but it'd be great to watch. I don't know, that was a weird little tangent. Rev Oh, go watch Rev Oh games in Atlantic City. And then up, Moscow Red Legion. Had some pretty lean years where they were mediocre, but they are definitely one of the better teams now and on the attack looking for some wins. And their last win actually was about a year ago in Atlantic City. The Russians now have looked better than they have in 5 years, and they really are ready to start winning again, and talked about as one of the better teams in the Pro Division. With new standout players like Samotrov and then sprinkled in some veterans like Golev, Kirill, or Bridnikov, the Russians are really good and for sure a team to watch in Atlantic City to take the win. And in the 5th spot, we have AC Dallas. AC Dallas are due for a win, or at least I want to think they're due for a win. It's kind of hard for me to believe this is only AC Dallas's 3rd year in the Pro Division, and from their very first tournament, from the jump, they've been one of the better teams. They have 6 times gotten 4th place or higher, and of those 6 times, they have all but once been eliminated by the eventual tournament winner. The team will also have Brad McCurley back at 100%, and like I said earlier, they also picked up Mike Waring of Tampa Bay Damage. Going into Atlantic City, John Jackson had this to say: "We're looking forward to the new speed with Mike now on the team, as we haven't had much of a fast player this season." AC Dallas, are they gonna win? And then in 4th, we have San Diego Dynasty. Something funny I noticed when doing this is Dynasty is really old. Their youngest player is Marcelo at 28, and their average team age is 32 and a quarter years old. That's old. Not that that really matters. I mean, you can be old and good at paintball still. It's just kind of interesting. I kind of want to lean toward maybe Dynasty should be looking at some younger players to get some new blood, maybe some faster, quicker blood on their team, but it's hard, right? They're really good. So it's hard to argue when they're winning tournaments and competing all the time, even if they're all really old. So Dynasty's old, don't count them out. They legit, they got Ryan Greenspan and Marcelo and Yosh Rao and Alex Fragi and Blake Yarber. They're good. And then we have XFactor. XFactor are another bunch of old guys, and they're another one of those teams that's right there. If there is a team that's super close to being the best, it has to be XFactor. Their last win was in 2013, and then their whole record is like riddled with 3rd and 4th place finishes. They're always right there. And this year they actually added some depth with Nick Slowiak and bringing back Jesse Stevens. I think this layout will probably work really well for XFactor, but they do have a brutal bracket. For sure one of the hardest brackets, but we'll cover that again a little bit. Houston Heat are next. Houston Heat have been playing very well lately. They've won 2 of the 4 pro tournaments this year, winning NXL Charlotte and NXL Texas. Really, they've won these tournaments, but it's a great play from their whole lineup. But they've definitely seen marked improvement from Ronnie Dizon and Nico Hyde, and like, believe it or not, Chad George. Like, Chad George has been playing out of his mind. He was one of the better players for like 10 years. But like, Chad has gotten really good, and for sure, like, I don't know, I'd say top 5 players at this point. The team will be without Konstantin Fedorov though. Fedorov hurt his ankle practicing for NXL Texas, so he's been injured for about a month and a half. Not that having him missing should scare their roster or team at all. Like, they are legit with or without him. Obviously, I mean, they won NXL Texas without Fedorov. At the top of the heap, Edmonton Impact. It's hard to even think about things to say that are bad about Impact, or like what to say. Like, they're just way better than everybody. I mean, you could take any 5 of their players, like pick 5 people out of a hat, and they're gonna beat the 5 best people in the NXL. Like, I really believe that. They're legit. Like, they could beat all-star rosters. Impact's good at paintball. They could win Atlantic City. I'm gonna pick Impact winning Atlantic City. So those are all the pro teams, maybe like a couple tidbits about what to watch for, guys that have injuries, or maybe, you know, who I think is gonna win. So let's talk about some brackets. Let's talk about these 4 brackets they're splitting all these teams up into, and then which matches you should watch in the prelims. So in the first bracket, we have Impact Rev Oh, Uprising, New York Extreme, and Boom. The match that I would watch is Impact versus Rev Oh. That's happening Saturday at 5:45. 5:45 is really late. It's almost 6 o'clock. Like I said, Rev Oh is that team that's getting better and trying to take out these upper tiered teams. So that should be a good one to watch. And in bracket B, we have Heat, Damage, Outlaws, DMG, and the ML Kings. In this bracket, there's also only one game that I would try to set aside time for, Houston Heat versus Tampa Bay Damage. That's happening Saturday at 4:45. Just 2 good teams that should be fun to watch. And then in bracket C, we have XFactor, Red Legion, Infamous, Ironman, and Aftershock. Every one of these matches should be good. I mean, we have XFactor, Red Legion, Infamous, the Ironman in one bracket. That's kind of crazy. 2 best matchups from this bracket are both going to be on Saturday, where Infamous are going to play the Ironman at 9 a.m. and XFactor are going to play Red Legion at 1:45. Ironman Infamous is going to be good. Saturday, 9 a.m. It's always fun to watch like players playing old teams and stuff like that. So Ironman Infamous is going to be good to watch. And then in bracket, we have Dynasty, AC Dallas, Elevation, PC Katana, and Thunder. The match that I would try to watch is also on Saturday, where Dynasty play AC Dallas at 12 noon. I always feel like the Dynasty AC Dallas games are good. 2 very good teams, and 2 teams that could go on to win the tournament. So that's that NXL Atlantic preview video. We recapped some teams and said some matches to watch. So this is the first time this, right? Like, if you have suggestions, things I should maybe try to bring up in the next NXL preview video, or if I should just stop doing them, or whatever, do for sure leave me a comment below. I want to improve this and make it better. So let me know what you think I should do.